Hey, what is good? What is happening, everybody? It's your boy Primitive AK here, back with another video for you guys today, showcasing you guys my day one raid setups for the Warlock, all the builds you guys need to know, and why I use certain items. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe. Appreciate you guys showing love and support on the previous video. If you haven't seen my previous videos showcasing my hunter builds for day one raids, make sure you guys check that out. Link to that will be in the description. So, Warlock. There are really only two builds I'm going to thoroughly cover in this video because there's really not much to overcomplicate with the Warlock build. So there are two main builds that I'm very likely going to be sticking with if I end up playing Warlock. I don't think I'm going to be playing Warlock because I think we have 2 or 3 Warlocks already, which is more than enough. I don't think we need 4. But I'm just going to go through it regardless for all of you Warlocks out there searching for builds. So the first build is a very strong build that I actually highly recommend everybody use for day one raids, because this is the build that I use in Grandmaster Nightfalls all the time. Matter of fact, last season I did not play well at all, not once. There was just no need for it with how strong this build is. And this is the Ark Soul Warlock build. Essentially, you're going to be dealing a ton of damage with your Ark abilities, and you're going to have very high uptime with your Ark abilities. So, the goal of this is primarily ad clear. And it does have chaos reach for that boss damage if you need it. So let's talk about the abilities first. We have Healing Rift, obviously, for the heals. Burst Glide, Ball of Lightning. I may even swap this out for, like, Chain Lightning, maybe, but I'm just going to leave this on Ball Lightning for now. Pulse Grenade, obviously, this is a no-brainer. We're going to be using Electrostatic Mind, which creates an Ionic Trace for every defeat with your abilities. And also Ark Soul, this is a no-brainer. You need this for your Rift. Your fragments are going to be Spark of Resistance, Spark of Ions, Spark of Magnitude, and Spark of Shock, with Chaos Reach, obviously. Moving on to the build itself, we got the Exotic Fallen Sunstar. This is going to improve Ionic Traces. Basically, what this does is that it gives you more abilities for your Ionic Traces. And as long as you're getting kills with your arc weapons, you're getting kills with your abilities, grenades, melee abilities, you're going to be getting a ton of Ionic Traces, and that's precisely what this build is for. So by the time you throw a grenade, you're very likely already going to have another grenade ready to go. And then you pop your Rift, that's going to also give you more ability. And it's a constant chain. So you throw a grenade, you pop a Rift, you get more kills, you have your grenade back, you throw a grenade, you get your Rift again, pop your Rift, get your grenade again. It's a constant cycle. You use this build in strikes, you'll see what I mean. And it works in Grandmaster content too, so don't feel like, because the enemies are tankier, you're not going to be able to chain your abilities fast. I will say, if you die with all of your abilities down, you do kind of lose momentum a bit. But as long as you stay alive, you get that momentum up, your abilities are going to be up 24/7, pretty much. So the mods we have on this one, we're going to be rocking Arc and Strand Siphon combo. You don't have to use this, you could just use Arc, because that's primarily what I'm using is Arc abilities. I got Ashes to Assets, more super energy on grenade kills. Double stack these because you will get a decent amount of grenade kills here. For our gauntlets, I got Firepower, Bolstering Detonation, and Fastball as well to go with that. Chest piece, we got Arc Resistance and Solar Resistance. Like I said, you're primarily dealing with Hive in Day 1 Raid, so, use this accordingly. You can double stack Solar because there's a lot of Solar people in there. Or double stack Arc because the Wizards shoot Arc, and I think the Boomer Knights shoot Arc as well, so you could double stack that if you need to. Stacks on stacks, so I can increase the number of armor charge stacks. Very useful. I've got the Recuperation here. Very, very huge help. Elemental Charge, and also Innervation, so I can get my nades back a little quicker. What this does is that every time I pop a Rift, if there's an orb that's nearby where I'm standing, it'll automatically teleport that orb to me. That way I get both health, and I also get grenade abilities as well. So this is very useful. Elemental Charge is pretty nice for Ionic Traces. And it also does give you Armor Charge. Actually, my bad. I was confusing that with Powerful Attraction. So yeah, Powerful Attraction is the one that teleports stuff towards your body. So that's what this does, and that's why I use it. We have Reaper. Every time I pop an ability, it's going to give me an orb. And like I said, your ability uptime is going to be insane here, so you're going to be shitting out orbs, pretty much. We got Bomber, reduces grenade cooldown when using class ability, and also use the according general armor mods for whatever you need on your build. So like I said, you would use this primarily with an arc weapon, This is most likely going to be my go-to build for day one settings, or just like I said, high level content. If you guys have watched any of my streams before, this is the primary build I'm running for all high level content. But of course, not everyone's going to want to play Ark. You're definitely going to need some wells in a day one raid. So let's go over what you would use for a solar class. I have two different ones, but we're going to go through the primary one I would use for day one, which is my Phoenix Protocol. Now, previously, in King's Fall, we used Starfire because this thing was just downright fucking broken. But this thing kind of got nerfed into the ground a little bit. It's still decent. I think there is a build out there that kind of brings this back to the limelight, but we're not going to be covering that because it's overcomplicated. And when it comes to day one raids, you do not want to overcomplicate shit. So let's talk about what we got here. For our well build, we've got Healing Rift, Burst Glide, Celestial Fire. You can use Incinerator Snap, but I prefer to use Burst Fire. Firebolt, I actually left this on by mistake. You'll probably want to use Fusion. That's just what I would stick with. I think I left this on because of Trials by mistake, like 2 seasons ago, and I never changed it. Touch of Flame, your grenades are basically going to blow up twice. Pretty nice. Icarus Dash, very nice as well. Ember of Ashes, Ember of Resolve, Ember of Searing, and Ember of Mercy. You can switch these up to your own preference, but I prefer to run these primarily for the stat numbers. That's precisely why I like to use those. Moving on, for our actual build here, we got Phoenix Protocol. Let's take a look at what this does. So this is going to give you ability, super energy, while you're standing in your well. So anytime your teammate or you gets a kill inside of a well, you are going to get super energy. This was nerfed a while ago because you could get your super back like instantly when you were getting kills in the well. So I think it's capped at 50%. But either way, getting your super to 50% after you just popped a super is crucial for a day one raid. I think I had a slot build like this back in King's Fall day one, and pretty much every damage phase that we got to, I had a well ready to go. And we had like 3 Warlocks. So if you only have 1 Warlock in your team, that 1 Warlock can single-handedly carry the entire team. That's how good this exotic is, even though it got nerfed. So you'll want to use solar damage, or solar resistance and arc resistance once again. You don't really need Void, because I think there's only the Accolade Shoot Void, which just is not really needed. We got Charged Up as well to go with this, increase our number of armor's charge stacks. We got Heavy Ammo Finder. We're primarily using this for the Warlock, because the Warlock's meant to be a support class, so that's why you need this one here. You don't need any of these Ashes to Assets. It's just not needed in my opinion. Like I said, the Exotic's going to do all the heavy carrying with that. We got Kinetic Siphon here to create an Orb of Light. You can swap this out for like maybe a different Siphon if you feel the need to do so. Like a, let's see, like a solar one if you want. That's entirely up to you. I might, like if you're using this SMG, for example, like the solar SMG, I forgot what it's called, the mini tool I think it is. You could swap this out for this one, but that's entirely up to you, of course. For our gauntlets, we got Firepower, Bolstering Detonation, and Fastball. So you're pretty much building into grenade mods here, because you will get it back fairly quickly, but this was primarily used for Starfire because you were just spamming grenades left and right, but like I said, still very good regardless. For our boots, we got Recuperation, Stacks on Stacks, and Innervation as well. And last but not least, we got Time Dilation, Bomber, and Double Bomber. Yeah, so you pretty much need Double Bomber. It's going to give you your name back pretty quick when you pop your Rift, so that's what this is primarily used for. But other than that, that's the well build that I'd recommend. Like I said, you don't want to overcomplicate builds when it comes to day ones. A lot of people have a habit of just overcomplicating shit. Like, I've seen people make some crazy ass, like, 1-2 punch builds. I can't stress it enough. Do not overcomplicate builds on day one. You cannot do that. You will constantly get yourself fucked up. Alright? I'm just going to straight up say it there. You can overcomplicate shit in other content, like strikes, maybe Grandmasters if you want. But when it comes to day one, your primary goal is to make that shit as easy as possible for you and your team. That's why these builds are as simple as they get. I don't overcomplicate things. And also the same would go for your weapons. And the last build I have is pretty much a copy and paste of the other well build, except we're now using Sun Bracers. So this is just primarily a grenade spam build. This one requires a bit of a setup, which is why I'm probably not going to be using it that much. But like I said, this is built around grenade spam. We'll talk a little bit about it. So with this one, I believe I do have similar mods: Singeing, Resolve, Searing, and Ashes. The only thing I have different here is Heat Rises, which I'm usually not a fan of, but we have it on regardless. We got Phoenix Dive, and the Incinerator Snap, followed by a Solar Grenade. And like I said, with Sun Bracers, you get a kill with your Snap, your melee ability. This is going to basically give you like infinite grenade charges for a certain amount of time. I think it's like 5 seconds or so. So you can just kind of spam grenades across the map. So we got Bolstering Detonation, Firepower, Momentum Transfer I had on at one point. Let me actually fix that because that was last season's mod, which doesn't exist anymore. So we got Momentum Transfer, Firepower, Bolstering Detonation to go with that on the gauntlets. For the helmet, we got Ashes to Assets, Heavy Ammo Finder. Don't have room for a Heavy Scout, unfortunately, but Finder is good enough to get the job done. If you don't want to use Finder, you can just use another Ashes to Assets. I don't think it's really needed, but, you know, that's up to you. I use this primarily for dungeons. I don't really take this in the day one raids, but I'm just showing it in case you guys want something like this. But it's unlikely I'm ever going to use this build in day one at all. I just don't see myself using it. We have double arc resistance mods here. Like I said, a lot of arc shooting at you. Very useful to have this on. And harmonic resistance as well. For the boots, stacks on stacks, innervation, recuperation. These boots pretty much always stay the same no matter what. We also have deep exploration mods, or deep exploration warlock bond, time dilation, bomber, bomber. Pretty much the exact same thing as the other build. Like I said, it's pretty much exactly the same. Nothing really changes. But like I said, I don't see myself using this build at all. It's too complicated. Well, not too complicated, but it's slightly more complicated than it needs to be. Like I said, you got to get a snap kill, then you spam grenades, then you Phoenix dive to get your abilities. Like I said, you don't want to overcomplicate things. I do have a stasis build. Doubt I'm going to use it. I'm not going to cover it. But like I said, you would need a stasis build. You can go ahead and search it out there. I just don't see myself using it. I do have a Strand build. This is primarily ad clear. Don't mind the way my Warlock looks. It looks like shit, I know. But I do have a Strand build for the Warlock. Very, very unlikely that I'll ever use this. This is the Infinite Suspend build. You guys pretty much know all about this. You use the Osteostriga with the mods where you can constantly suspend targets. So I'll just briefly go over this. Thread of Mind, Thread of Warding, Thread of Generation, and Wisdom. Aspects, Weaver's Call, and Mind Spun Invocation. Shackle Grenade, obviously. Suspend targets. Arcane Needle. Healing Rift. And Necrotic Grip. This synergizes well with the Osteostriga. So we got Kinetic Loader. And also Focusing Strike. Heavy Ammo Finder with a Kinetic Siphon. Void Resist, or you should double stack Arc Resistance with Solar. I have a Void on because I was doing some other content, so... Arc Weapon Surge, you don't really need Surge mods. I think I had this on because, like I said, we were doing a DPS phase on something, and I just kind of threw this on there. But I would probably swap this out for Recuperation, or I already have Recuperation, so I swap this out for, like, maybe Insulation or Innervation, followed by a Elemental Charge, potentially. But, like I said, you can really get away with throwing anything on the boots. It doesn't really affect the build too much. Don't use Special Finisher. Like I said, I had this on for other activities, but I'd probably use Distribution and double Bomber mods, or maybe even Reaper. Distribution or Reaper is going to be the go-to here. But like I said, this is primarily ad clear. I don't think I'd ever take this in day one raid. I'd probably stick with the well here. But overall, guys, like I said, that's about it for my builds. Like I said, I'm going to be sticking primarily with the Arc build and the well build for the Phoenix Protocol. These are the two primary ones I'm going to be using. I don't see myself changing any of these. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think about this. Thank you guys again for watching. And stay tuned. We're going to be covering Titan next. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out of here. Peace out.